Hi guys, and thanks for joining me today for my first episode of Missing Pieces. This is my first ever YouTube video, so bear with me as I learn more about improving the quality of my videos. I've decided to call this channel Missing Pieces because not only are the people featured in my cases missing pieces of our society, but their stories are filled with missing pieces, creating mysteries waiting to be solved. It's crazy to think that even in our highly monitored society, people still vanish without a trace every day. This series is dedicated to spreading public awareness in hopes that these individuals are found and brought home safely. Our first case is that of Ciera Locklair Breland. Ciera's case is a bit strange because in order to get the full picture, we need to start from before it was her story. The story starts with a woman named Brittany Lusk. On December 16, 2020, Brittany had gotten a protective order signed by a judge against her then-husband, Xavier Breland Jr. Xavier had a habit of abuse and threats, with one source alleging he had once threatened to bury Brittany in front of their minor children. Xavier's lawyer throughout these proceedings was Ciera Locklair, and it appears this may have been how she had gotten involved with him in the first place. In January 2021, Brittany was able to secure a permanent family violence protective order against Xavier, with the judge finding that he had violated the Family Violence Act by committing family violence and had placed Lusk, her family, and children in reasonable fear for their safety. This is where the story starts to get a little strange, because even though Xavier had lost his case and been proven to be violent, a romantic relationship between him and Ciera began. Sources speculate that Xavier was able to convince Ciera that Brittany was just a crazy ex who liked making up stories and blowing things out of perspective, making him out to be the perpetual bad guy. Over the next year, Ciera and Xavier would get married and have a child. And in late February of 2022, they decided to take a family trip with their pet dog and 5-month-old son from their home in Carmel, Indiana, to Georgia, where they would visit with each of their parents. They first arrived at Ciera's father's house in Cleveland, Georgia on February 19th, and had what seemed to be a pretty normal visit. Shortly after, they left and traveled the 45 miles to Xavier's mother's home in Johns Creek, Georgia. Then, on February 25th, the couple's 2017 white Volkswagen Tiguan arrived back at their home in Indiana, but it is unclear if both Xavier and Ciera made the trip. Xavier reported his wife missing the very next day. According to Xavier, after the couple had arrived home on the 25th, Ciera decided to walk down to a local store at around 10 p.m. and simply never returned. However, there is quite a bit of evidence to suggest his story isn't the truth. First, Xavier reported that Ciera had left home wearing purple shorts, even though the temperatures that night were recorded in the mid to upper 20s. Also, many of her personal belongings that she likely would have carried with her to the store were left behind at her home, including her credit cards, ID, and cell phone. Finally, surveillance video from the store in question shows that Ciera never arrived there that night. The actual last verified sighting of Ciera was on February 24th, leaving the home of her mother-in-law. It is unclear whether Ciera made it back to Indiana at all. Family members report that she had asked to move back in with them in Georgia during the trip, but then left the next day with Xavier instead. In some of her final texts, she tells her cousin that she has arrived at her mother-in-law's house in Johns Creek and plans on returning to her father's house in Cleveland as soon as she can get her son away from Xavier. This wasn't the first time Ciera had shown herself to be fearful of Xavier. Ciera's cousin also revealed disturbing text messages sent between them in August of 2021, with Ciera saying things like, "I'm seeing things that scare me a lot for a future with him, and they aren't the kinds of things you can accept and live with. And, if anything happens to me, then he is responsible. I'm really scared and I don't know what to do." To make this story even freakier, on February 24th, The same day that Ciera was last seen, a warrant was issued for Xavier's arrest on another charge. According to reports, Xavier was using GPS trackers to monitor the location of his former wife Brittany and their children, although due to the protection order, he wasn't even supposed to know where they live. He allegedly placed a tracker on Brittany's car and sewed one into a stuffed animal gift that he gave to his daughter, then harassed Brittany with phone calls revealing that he knew her address. Brittany later discovered the tracker when she felt something odd inside the toy and opened it up to make the discovery. While Xavier was on his trip in Georgia, he missed a court date regarding these aggravated stalking charges and was arrested on March 15, 2022, for a bench warrant in the Coweta County Jail. He is currently being held while awaiting trial. Meanwhile, no one has seen or heard from Ciera since February 24th. What do you think happened to Ciera? Post your theories in the comments below. Unfortunately, the trip from Johns Creek, Georgia, where she was last seen, back to her home in Carmel, Indiana, is about an 8 to 9 hour drive, and the areas along these routes include several national forests, parks, and heavily treed areas. Ciera is 31 years old, 5 feet tall, and 120 pounds, with brown eyes and blonde hair. Anyone with information regarding this case is asked to contact the Carmel Police Department, the Johns Creek Police Tip Line, or their local FBI office. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the location of Ciera Breland. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more missing persons cases discussed, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm aiming to make a new case video at least bi-weekly, so check back soon for more content. And if there's a case you'd like to see featured on Missing Pieces, send a message to missingpiecesyt@gmail.com. Thanks again.